On this episode of Just Seen It, we review Oz, the Great and Powerful, with James Franco as the famous wizard.
We're gonna find this wicked witch, steal her wand, I'll get that big pile of gold, and you can have a nice pile of bananas, all right?
I don't know how many people are going to be coming to this film and thinking, I need it to be more campy like the original.
The new Tina Fey comedy, Admission.
It's diet soda.
Diet soda? Why diet?
I just like the taste better.
So do I. That's unbelievable.
I guess.
Just diet soda.
I do appreciate a female character who adds a little bit more quirkiness rather than less.
And the fantastical drama, Upside Down.
There's hunters with guns and border patrol trucks.
Are you serious?
Don't make that face.
But when he suffers at the emotionally low points of the script, you really feel for him. I think that's incredibly effective.
All right here on Just Seen It. Oscar is a con man and magician in a Kansas circus.
I don't want to be a good man. I want to be a great one.
When he is swept away by a tornado into the land of Oz, he meets three witches.
Great wizard from Kansas, I've waited for you to come and set things right.
Seeing Oscar as their only hope, they task him with fighting a great evil in Oz, the Great and Powerful.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Salim, and we're here to talk about Oz, the Great and Powerful, directed by Sam Raimi. We've all just seen it. Rachel, why don't you take it away?
We could debate whether this is Sam Raimi or whether this is James Franco, but there is heart missing in this movie. There are some stilted performances. You have a man who has a lead role. He should have a twinkle in his eye like Gene Wilder. No, no. He reminds me of a fellow who, like, someone placed a baby in his arms or something, and he's just like, hey, kid, I like kids. I'm in a kid's movie. I'm gonna smile at everyone. He had that feeling to me.
But I felt like the stiltedness of any of the performances matches The Wizard of Oz. They were really trying to match the aesthetic of the original because they were making it a real prequel to the film.
I didn't feel like the original was stilted at all. I felt like the original was this wonderful, heartfelt movie.
When people watch this, they're going to probably be thinking this is bad acting or bad directing, and not necessarily the style that Sam Raimi is going for. And I don't know why he needs to go for that style. I don't know how many people are going to be coming to this film and thinking, I need it to be more campy like the original.
Oh, no. Off. Come on, off. Off of there.
Please let me go.
Get off. No, get off of there. No dolls on the witch hunt.
Please
Fine.
let me go.
Fine. You want to come? Come. We'll all go. It'll be a big party.
Let's go kill ourselves a witch.
James Franco is kind of doing the same thing that Johnny Depp does in Pirates of the Caribbean, where the first time you see him, he's going down the sinking boat, and he kind of just walks right onto the dock, and there's that kind of playfulness to it. He's doing the same type of thing. There's kind of a wink-wink. I know I'm in this crazy world and crazy movie, and I'm going to have fun with it.
We're gonna find this wicked witch, steal her wand, I'll get that big pile of gold, and you can have a nice pile of bananas, all right?
Bananas. Oh, I see. Because I'm a monkey, I must love bananas, right?
When I was watching this movie, it reminded me a lot of Spider-Man 3, which I feel is Sam Raimi's most campy Spider-Man. His first two movies were very theatrical and very much studio pictures. The third one, there's awkward dance numbers, and it just obviously was done for camp and for comedy, and that's what I felt in this picture. There are a lot of dark undertones that I felt that they tried to bring in the camp or the comedic value so that the kids won't be as scared with the craziness that's going on.
I found this to be an extremely scary movie. You have these witches who there's so much CGI and stuff when they're revealed to be witches, especially at the end. I mean, these are graphic images, which as a little kid, these are the things nightmares are made of.
But, I don't think but it's that campiness that you guys talk about that makes it not scary.
No.
Like, I thought this whole thing was really, really good for kids. Totally easy. I didn't think it was scary. The baboons, maybe a little bit, the flying baboons.
We have 3 witches that fill the picture. We have Glinda, played by Michelle Williams. I thought she was great.
I did too.
She just seemed like this nice, perfectly kind witch who just wants only the good for her people.
Did you notice, though, that I think she must have filmed this right after My Week with Marilyn, because there was a couple times where she slipped into the Marilyn speak, and I was like, oh.
Yes. We have Rachel Weisz, who plays Evanora.
Yes.
And we have Mila Kunis, who plays Theodora.
I felt like maybe it's because she had those scenes with James Franco. Like his stiltedness sort of rubbed off on her and she had this weird sort of performance at first.
I agree.
Until she has a transformation of some sort. And then everything felt a lot more natural with her.
I agree. I had the same issue at the beginning. I was
it's
like,
this
something
is
feels
weird.
a little strange.
It felt like she was playing at the character. Again, I just had this feeling like here are these mature actors who found themselves in a kid's movie and just didn't know what to do with it.
Have you finally joined her side, sister?
I am on no one's side. You know that. I simply want peace. It's all I ever wanted, and the wizard can do that. He's a good man.
What do you know about goodness? Deep down, you are wicked.
So let's talk about the directing and production values. We know Sam Raimi directed this, and I think it looks visually stunning. Oz looks great. It's green and lush. However, at times it did look a little bit fake, but I'm assuming this is an homage to the original film.
And that's what I loved about this movie, is that they put little touches in that harken back to the original movie, like right down to when they're in the Munchkin area, the Yellow Brick Road kind of curves into the spiral, and it looked like the same set.
The beginning of this movie, actually the whole third of this movie looked amazing, and all the visual, the 3D imaging, I felt like I was at a Disneyland, like Omnimax experience, which was really cool. But then about a third of the way through, I feel like some of the care that was taken into the design of that, I don't know, I feel like they got lazy, actually.
Yeah. There are moments when they, like you said, a wink and a nod to the audience, but it kind of gets bogged down because of the campiness. And sometimes I don't care about the characters or what's going on, and which is unfortunate because I wanted to.
There are characters that I think would do better in an animated film, and there are running gags that repeatedly fall flat. And again, if you had like animation, maybe these things would be funny, but here, they're so corny, they're so cheeseball-y, and some of these supporting characters are really just annoying. Like if you could see them bouncing around like the screen as animation, they might be cute and endearing, but instead you're just like, no.
A fun ride, unfortunately bogged down by too much goofiness and not enough grounding. Stream it.
Kids will enjoy it. For whole families and anyone else, I'd say stream it.
This is an ambitious, clever, and nostalgic prequel to The Wizard of Oz, and I think it's going to appeal to people of all ages. I say see it.
All right, our votes add up to 2 full tickets, which is a stream it for Oz the Great and Powerful. All right?
Yeah!
Cheers, mates.
You guys have no soul.
You all want to know the secret formula for getting in.
Princeton admissions officer Portia is up for a promotion.
Yes?
It's John Pressman from the New Quest School. I'd like for you to visit our campus.
When John invites her to visit his alternative school, she meets Jeremiah, desperate to get into Princeton.
You know, I'm not really your typical student. My brain sort of goes on a little walkabout.
He's a prodigy.
Discovering he may be her son, she decides to bend the rules in admission.
Hi, I'm Brenna.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Kevin.
And we're here to talk about Admission, the new film from Paul White, starring Paul Rudd and Tina Fey. We've all just seen it. How about you start us off?
Tina Fey plays an admissions officer at Princeton, and she ends up learning a lot about life and love, and there's so many things going on, I don't even know what to tell you.
If you can't get a good synopsis because there's so much going on, it tends to be a problematic film.
And there's a lot of like motherhood, there's, moral responsibility, ethics.
There's maternal problems with her and her possible child, and then with her and her mother, and then there's paternal issues with Paul Rudd and his son.
Right.
And then there's issues about her job and her life, and she gets dumped, and there's all this other stuff going on.
And a love story.
It's lovely.
And a love story.
I love the writing. It almost has sort of a Tina Fey feel to it. I think that might be some of her ad-libs, though.
We should mention that it's written by Karen Kroner, who adapted it from a book of the same name, Admission.
I love a movie that has more rather than less plot. I don't feel that it's confusing because your focus is Tina, and you're watching her the whole way through as she struggles with all these different things that befall her. But I never really felt like there was, any muddiness or confusion.
I don't think the plot was convoluted. I think that there was just 5 plots. When you have that many different stories going on at the same time, it's hard to have a central theme or a central idea, and because of that, there is none for this film. Is it about being ethical in your job? Is it about being a good mother? Is it about being a good daughter? Is it about love? There's so much going on that there's no underlying theme.
I think it's about self-exploration. That's what I'm sticking with, because when she's faced with the possibility of being a maternal figure, she reacts to that a lot differently than you would expect. All of these different things, I feel like it's just her exploring herself and realizing that she isn't going to react the way that she thought she would.
What is that?
It's diet soda.
Diet soda? Why diet?
I just like it to taste better.
So do I. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I guess.
Just diet soda. No.
Yeah.
As soon as she finds out that she's possibly the mother of this person, sudden instant switch. And they'd spent a lot of time in the first part of the movie building up the fact that she hates kids and she's not good with kids.
Right.
And then all of a sudden she's trying to pick out a Thomas the Tank Engine toothbrush for her possible child.
If you are a woman and you think that you've lost a child and all of a sudden you have found this child and it's years later, that change can happen overnight.
But she just gets handed something and says, this is the truth. And she's like, oh, okay.
She gets handed a ratty copy of a birth certificate that says John Doe on it. It could be anybody.
There's reasons why it is very believable that that person would be her child, and I think she wants to believe.
But she never questions it, ever.
No,
She
she
just
doesn't.
goes,
But
"Oh,
I
okay."
think she wants to believe it. You know, if you feel like you messed up and all of a sudden here's a second chance handed to you, are you really going to question it and be like, well, you know, the
Yes.
dates, I'm not sure. You might, or you might just go, thank God that this is happening, and run with it.
So we disagree about that, but I think we can agree that the writing is pretty sharp and clever.
I really did enjoy the admissions process
Yes.
of the movie. I wanted to see more of that. I thought it was actually fascinating.
Well, it's very timely, too. I mean, there's all of these shows about people trying to get their kids into preschools, fancy preschools, middle schools, and it's become so competitive now that this is a fascinating view into something that's very contemporary and very current.
Tina Fey and Paul Rudd are the two leads. I love Tina Fey. And here, while I think she does do a good job, it almost seems like she's miscast in a way. Even though I liked her, it just was too up and down for me.
She's capable of doing these kind of comedies, these kind of toned-down comedies. But the problem is as soon as she goes into kooky Tina Fey territory, it completely throws off this film.
Exactly.
Because there's a scene where when she's suddenly being maternal, she walks up to a woman in a store and tries to take her baby from her. Oh, let me help. I'm helping. Let me help. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, you look like a crazy
It
lady.
was very Liz Lemon.
Yeah, I will give you that. There's several occasions where she could be toned down a little bit, but on the other hand, I do appreciate a female character who adds a little bit more quirkiness rather than less.
And speaking of toned down, we have Paul Rudd, who is extremely toned down in this, and he does a great job at it. When you think of Paul Rudd, you don't think of this type of movie, but he nails it. He's great in this.
I'm sorry, so you're just this single dad traveling the world with his kid, doing good?
But I have that on a t-shirt, actually. Single dad traveling the world with his kid, doing good. You could borrow it someday if you'd like.
It's kind of a testament to him where he can go between those, this is 40 where it's a little over the top, and then do things like Object of My Affection, which is, kind of a normal, toned down, quiet comedy.
Along with Paul Rudd and Tina Fey, we have Lily Tomlin playing Tina Fey's mother. And she doesn't get much screen time because there's so many different stories going on here that each one is shortchanged. Lily Tomlin's is one of those. We didn't really get enough with her. I feel she was my favorite part. I wanted to see more of her.
And the closure to their story is kind of a big deal, but I felt nothing because they didn't do enough with it.
It came out of left field. And finally, we have Nat Wolff playing Jeremiah Balakian, who is this gifted, almost autistic, socially awkward autodidact. Which means he reads a lot of books. He likes to teach himself. And she jumps through all the hoops as he tries to apply and get into Princeton. And his performance is actually really strong.
Yeah, he was really interesting. I wish they'd done more with him, actually.
Let's go on to the directing.
I thought the directing was charming and pleasant, but Paul Weitz couldn't really find the tone of this movie. It went from broad comedy to kind of an indie rom-com.
This was so unpredictable, so lovely, and so unexpected that I just really enjoyed it.
It's not worth the price of admission. Put it on your wait list. Stream it.
With a great ensemble, sharp and witty writing, and a less than predictable plot, I give it a strong see it.
Despite its tonal problems, it's still a fairly enjoyable film, so I say stream it.
So our votes add up to 2 full tickets, which is a stream it for admission.
Cheers to getting
Cheers.
in.
To Tina Fey.
Our DVD pick of the week is an animated doubleheader. The homage to video games, Wreck-It Ralph.
Now let's close out with the bad guy affirmation. I am bad.
and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me.
And the fantasy adventure Rise of the Guardians.
It is our job to protect the children of the world. Now we face a threat greater than ever before. What an adorable dream. What's more powerful? It's fear. We need your help.
When David, Leah, and Brenna reviewed Wreck-It Ralph this past fall, they gave it a 3-way see it. When Salim, Rachel, and Aaron reviewed Rise of the Guardians, they also gave it a 3-way see it. Also out this week is Schindler's List, the winner of 7 Academy Awards directed by Steven Spielberg, out on Blu-ray for its 20th anniversary. So there you have it, 2 animated films, and if they make you feel too happy, just go watch Schindler's List. It's a bit of a downer.
From opposite worlds, Adam and Eden are teenagers in love. But when border agents catch them, the two are forced apart. Years later, Adam tries to reunite with his lost love in Upside Down.
Hello, I'm Liz.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Aaron, and today we're here to talk about Upside Down, the new film starring Jim Sturgis and Kirsten Dunst. We've all just seen it. Liz, I demand that you start.
All right. It is visually innovative. It is a beautiful film. The whole point of this film is that it's these star-crossed lovers who live in worlds with opposing gravitational forces. And so this filmmaker, Juan Solanas, really went the whole 9 yards and showed and created 2 amazing worlds. But when it comes to the story, it feels stilted and fairy tale-like and very one-dimensional, and that was bothersome to me.
But it is a fairy tale.
Yeah, there's
but
nothing
it
wrong
could
with
still
fairy
have like
tales.
decent dialogue and story structure.
Well,
You don't know what that planet's like, sorry. But you don't know you don't know what that planet's like. They might talk like that on that planet. It's not our planet.
But the important thing to remember about this whole idea is that it came to our writer-director Juan Solanas in a dream. He saw the visual image of a man on a mountaintop looking up and seeing a woman upside down on another mountaintop, and that stuck with him. And so it's based off of an image. It can't be the strongest script in the world if it came from a visual.
David Lynch constantly bases his films off of dreams and stream of consciousness, and his dialogue is natural, and he has really bizarre, captivating scripts.
But comparing David Lynch to Juan Solanas is not an equal comparison.
Juan Solanas he won the jury prize at Cannes for his student short. He has the pedigree, and he's the son of Fernando Solanas, who's a famous Argentinian filmmaker. So he has the pedigree to go on and become a very good filmmaker.
But look at this movie. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's
visually beautiful.
It's visually beautiful, but I also, if you base it on a dream, but yet he then took it and created these 2 incredible worlds. Even when I thought he was breaking the rules, he wasn't.
That's the end of it. I mean, the script really is the biggest problem. I will agree with you there. But the movie's not about a story. It's about spectacle and emotion, and I forgave the script problems for that because it's one of the more unique concepts that I've seen in years.
You should never forgive script problems.
I usually don't, but I got sucked into it.
Story
It's
is
like
what the film is
Titanic.
all about. Oh,
Titanic.
Titanic had a decent script.
No.
I thought that script was stronger
But here's the
than
thing,
this one.
that was a very simple, there's nothing to that script. And this is the same thing. It's 2 people who meet, who fall in love and want to be together. That's it. And that's all it should be. And then they're thrown into this world that they have to navigate in order to be together. That's the only thing you need to know.
Okay, let me just say, I do agree with you guys. Visually, this film is stunning. It is gorgeous and innovative and novel, and I don't know many other words I could use to describe how great it is. But I had problems with story.
Well then.
That is all I have to say.
Now that we're done with the Liz show. Jim Sturgis is the main character of Adam, and he's very endearing, he's very believable. Sometimes he overacts a little bit. I think that his voiceover in the beginning was a little too exaggerated.
I'll agree with that.
And Kirsten Dunst, who plays Eden, also does a wonderful job.
I had an accident when I was a teenager. Everything before that is gone. Sometimes things come back to me in dreams, but I'm never sure if they're real or if I'm making them up.
Jim Sturgis as Adam plays a very happy-go-lucky character, and it's a little irritating and abrasive at times, but when he suffers at the emotionally low point of the script, you really feel for him. I think that's incredibly effective. And on the other side of the coin, Kirsten Dunst plays Eden, and she's so lovely, and she's so natural with the very stilted dialogue, and you could see why he's obsessed with her.
This is Kirsten Dunst and Jim Sturgis' movie all the way, and their connection and their chemistry is what really sold this for me.
Where have you been? I've been waiting ages for you.
Our neighbors got robbed. They're saying it was a thief from down below. There's hunters with guns and border patrol trucks.
Are you serious?
Don't make that face. I made it here, right?
Well, look, as long as you're okay.
Juan Solanas directed the film. The script problems aside, and I'm not denying that there are some, he brought a vision that we have not seen. We've never seen this world before, created so particularly and specifically that I was just kind of floored by him, and I kind of been wondering, where has this guy been?
Yeah, I agree. I think the world is really the strength of this film, and there don't seem to be very many directorial mishaps at all. I really think that he used every aspect of filmmaking to support his vision. And I know you agree in certain things, like they have eye lines that match when people are upside down and not, and it's so fascinating. He stuck to his guns and he made something unique.
As a director, I think he shepherded this world very effectively. Visually, technically, he's very dynamic. He's wonderful. But then when he's the originator of the story and he's the writer, there's something very formal and stilted about the performances, and those come from script problems. It was almost as if someone wrote it in another language and translated it into English.
He probably did write it in another language.
They talk about him on set, in the press packet, they talk about Juan Solanas and how he's not a very good English speaker.
But Kirsten Dunst was very natural, as you said. So,
I think she brought that to it. I think she forced her naturalism onto the dialogue.
but I think they all did that. I didn't really find it that formal, except for the beginning, during the voiceover, because I thought he was giving some sort of weird speech or something. I'm like, oh, we'll find out what this is, and then we don't find out anything.
It was just so cool, Liz. Come on.
I know.
It was so unique that it deserves attention, absolutely.
Despite the ending, this is a gorgeously realized film. It's very compelling, and I think everybody should see it on the big screen. I say see it.
Unique visions should be rewarded. However, I found myself rolling my eyes throughout the majority of this film. I say stream it.
Upside Down is not a perfect film, but there are enough unique elements to make it fresh and visually spectacular, so I say see it.
Well, it looks like our votes add up to 2.5 tickets, which is a see it for Upside Down.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Victory.
Yeah, for getting it right.
Screenwriter Wentworth Miller has stated that one inspiration for Stoker is the Alfred Hitchcock film Shadow of a Doubt. Now, the story of both films differ dramatically, but they both share a similar premise. Each film features a family visited by a mysterious uncle and his acquaintance with his young niece, but all is not as it seems. Released in 1943 and starring Teresa Wright and Joseph Cotten, Shadow of a Doubt is considered an early Hitchcock masterpiece. Its examination of an American town and an average American family are two essential ingredients that make the film work so well.
Charles, you've had these all along.
All along, Emmy, all these years. Safe in a deposit box, no matter where I was.
Grandpa and Grandma?
1888. 53 years ago.
Aren't they sweet? My, she was pretty.
Everybody was sweet and pretty then, Charlie, the whole world. A wonderful world.
Of note is the score by Dmitri Tiomkin, his first of 4 collaborations with Hitchcock, and one of the earliest screen appearances by Hume Cronyn. Cronyn was the husband of Jessica Tandy, and in later life he would appear in films such as Cocoon. Whether you enjoyed Stoker and are looking for something similar, or you hated it and are looking for an alternative, you can't go wrong with Shadow of a Doubt. Not to mention the fact that Hitchcock stated it was his favorite of all the films he directed. That's why Shadow of a Doubt is this week's classic from the vault.
On our next episode, we review the new animated movie, The Croods. Next, we check out Spring Breakers with James Franco, and we do a very special retrospective on the first 3 seasons of Downton Abbey, and a look ahead to season 4. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.
There were just too many plot holes. I didn't buy it.
I think it's perfectly logical.
You would.
Would you just get down from there?